Hi everybody, old guy here. You know, there's a lot of similarities between a horny teenage boy and an old perv. I mean, I should know I have been both. May still be one, at least on my good days. I think that's the reason that this book does so well in high school. Everybody in my high school read it at some point, and everybody who did so used the word grok like they knew what it meant. Because it showed you were cool. Because it meant you had read it. Anybody who asked you what that word meant was out of touch, a loser, a jock, or somebody who just didn't fit in with we sophisticated, cutting edge, in the know guys. We grokked grok. I remember that I was very approving of the novel because it supported my teenage boy fantasy of a world of unbridled sexual activity with anyone simply by the asking. That was the world utopia for which we all strived and yearned, and why can't we all just get along? Heinlein, to us then, was a genius and a visionary. Now, that was, of course, a few decades ago, and I was over at my son's house, and I spotted a copy of this very same book on his shelf. Right here. Chip off the old block, of course, but this edition was different. It's the original uncut version Heinlein intended to publish, not the significantly edited version that I read in high school. About 70,000 words more, in fact, which, holy moly, that's like a whole book in itself. So I grabbed it off his shelf without him knowing and strolled out of the house to see if this is the book that I remember. Amazing what a few decades will do for your memory. First of all, most important, this book is tedious. A lot more tedious than I remembered. Perhaps it's the additional novel added to the original, but man, did this turn into a slog. Especially in the last third of the book, which I suspect is where the original cutting was done. I don't remember enough of the differences between the two versions to say where the specific difference lies, but I now realize that old pervert and young teenage boys share the same frenzied desire for a world of sex upon request, masquerading as a world of sophisticated and oh so mature viewpoint. Why, yes, Buffy, sex is the only way you can prove how advanced and progressive you are, so get into this bed here and do what I say. Do you grok, or are you not cool? Valentine Michael Smith is the illegitimate child of Captain Michael Brandt of the first manned spaceship to Mars, having been gotten onto Dr. Mary Jane Lyle Smith, the wife of the expedition's surgeon. This hanky-panky may have had something to do with the spaceship crashing in its landing attempt, killing everyone on board except Valentine, who is born at the moment of the crash. He is raised by Martians, who have a rather cavalier approach to child rearing, more or less tossing their egg-hatched nymphs onto the surface of the planet to survive, or not, until childhood. Free-range children, so to speak. Martians have extraordinary psychokinesis and telepathic abilities, as does Smith. And the sharing of water makes you a water brother, which is like a hyperkinetic relative you can never get rid of or say no to. And a Martian can die merely by whim and become an old one. which are the Martian ghosts that dispense all of the wisdom and make all the decisions about the viability of other civilizations, like the one that used to be where the asteroid belt is now. So Martians are not to be trifled with. The second manned expedition to Mars, launched 20 years later, finds Smith and brings him back, and all the fun begins. From attempts to kidnap the man from Mars because Smith, through some technicality, owns Mars, and there are Earth factions who would like to keep it for themselves, despite the presence of rather powerful native Martians. Think what would have happened if Columbus had discovered that the Taino had nuclear weapons. Not only that, Smith is the sole heir to the fabulous riches of the Lyle rocket drive, which his mother invented. So he's a young man with money and no clue as to what sex is or even what a woman is. The possibilities are endless. Now, by this time, you know enough about the book to know what those possibilities are. From the new religions and relationships and governments that Smith and his new disciples are willing to try and discard and try again. Heinlein throws out a ton of ideas and lets Smith work through them all and then some. So there's much to see here. But boy, does it become wearying. From the obvious lechery of Jubal Harshaw, the Heinlein stand-in curmudgeonly doctor-lawyer who becomes Smith's protector, to Petty Paimonsky, the tattooed sex bomb who becomes a high priestess to Smith and is constantly hammered over your head with the advisability and desirability of a free love lifestyle. Jubal's relationship with his three gal Fridays is like a 60s rom-com combination of I Dream of Jeannie and the Mod Squad, with a lot of wink-wink, nudge-nudge thrown in here and there. There's a lot of contrived situations designed to let Heinlein throw his ideas at you, including Smith doing a stint as a circus sideshow magician so he can learn how to skin the rubes before he takes over the Fosterite Church, a rather strange pseudo-Christian mix of orgy and prayer. Like I said, fair correlation between horny teenage boys and old pervs. A very 60s kind of book, with not a lot of technical predictions in it. I mean, they're still using typewriters, for goodness sake. And you're not going to find anything too eye-opening here. Unless you're a teenage boy. Old guy here. See you later.